If you follow this one strategy, you can improve your chances of accomplishing your goals in 2025 by up to 30%. Let's talk about it. I heard Simon Sinek say this quote by an American psychologist by the name of Charles Horton Cooley, and he said, "I am not who you think I am. I am not who I think I am. I am who I think you think I am." In other words, we all live in a perception of ourselves, trapped by the interpretation we have of ourselves that is based on what we think others think about us. So, how important is our own self perception and how does it affect us accomplishing our goals? The pioneer of the self-efficacy theory, psychologist Albert Bandura, he suggests that self-belief is one of the most important predictors of success. In his studies, Dr. Albert found that having a high self-efficacy or a positive outlook on oneself can increase goal achievement by 20 to 30%, and that's a lot. People who believe in their ability to succeed are way more likely to 1. Set more ambitious goals, 2. Persist through challenges and obstacles, 3. Remain motivated even when faced with setbacks, and 4. Learn from failures rather than being discouraged by them. But why do some people have a strong self-belief while others don't? That's a good question. Your perception of yourself and your abilities might very well be the number one thing that's actually keeping you from achieving your goals. But let's learn how to fix that in this video. There was a time when even Jesus was stuck in this strange predicament, and he took his disciples aside one day and he asked them, "Who do people actually say that I am?" I mean, why was Jesus even asking this question in the first place? He was God, right? Who knows all things and sees all things. I'm sure Jesus wasn't insecure about himself or needed any kind of validation to be himself. However, he asked the question because it was important for the establishment of the purpose for which he came to deliver. Oftentimes, what you do or the profession you have, people tend to look at you differently, or they decide what level of respect or honor to show you. Whoever someone accepts you to be in their minds, it determines the position you will occupy in their lives and what you'll be able to do for them, if anything at all. So the perception you have of someone, including yourself, 1, it determines if you love and accept yourself and if you value and accept others. And 2, it determines what it is that that person is able to do in your life. Okay, let's look at another biblical example of this to give it some more clarity and context. There's an interesting parable in the book of Matthew that says, "He who receives a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward, and he who receives a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward." So, say for example, you're sick, right? And you're in need of a doctor, and someone comes along with a cure. But in your mind, this person is only a janitor, for example's sake. I have nothing against janitors, guys. So there's no way he's going to be able to help you, even though he has the cure for your sickness. There's a high chance that you might kick the bucket because your perception of who the person was negated his or her ability to save you. So if you're going to get to your desired destination in 2025, do not dismiss your destiny helpers or ostracize people because in your mind, they aren't worthy enough of your respect. Do not look down on anyone, but instead, utilize and leverage relationships to help you achieve your goals. It was due to this kind of mentality why Jesus asked the question in the first place. The disciples then responded to him. Some say that you are John the Baptist, others say that you are Elijah, some say that you are just a good person, and still others say that you are Jeremiah, one of the prophets of old. Even to this day, people are still saying that he's just some historical figure that was invented centuries ago. People have so many different ideas about who they think Jesus actually is. But that's not the main point of this video. The point is, none of the titles that the people around him assigned it to him qualified him to do what he actually came to do. Jesus really came to re-establish his kingdom on the earth, and none of those titles qualified him as a king in order to do so. It doesn't mean that he didn't have the power or the ability within himself to do it, but if the people perceived him as someone who he was not, then it would ruin the purpose for which he came. Misunderstanding and misinterpretation can thwart the original intention behind any purpose. So if they received him as a teacher, then he could only do what a teacher is qualified to do, which is to teach, right? And if they received him as a prophet, then he could only do what a prophet is purposed to do. Now, what can you learn from all this, and how does it actually apply to you? Well, it means that the people around you don't know who you are at all. All they have is an opinion of who you are based on what they have seen or observed. So in 2025, if you're going to become the greatest person that God has called you to be, then you're going to have to relinquish yourself of the opinions and the perception you have of yourself that is as a result of what you think others think about you. Think less about the opinions of others and choose to believe in yourself and the vision that God has called you to fulfill. So finally, after hearing all the responses of the wider community, Jesus then turned to his closest disciples and asked, "Who do you say that I am? You guys have been walking with me for the past 3 years. I wonder what you think about me." But interestingly, they didn't know the answer either. But Peter decided to give it a try, and he said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." That statement was an unequivocal truth factor that embodied the purpose, the power, and the authority that Jesus came to earth to do, which was to re-establish the kingdom of God on the earth. But here's what's interesting about what Peter said. It wasn't the fact that he gave the right answer, it was where he got the answer from. Jesus responded to Peter and said, "Peter, man, you should be happy. Why? Because flesh and blood did not reveal that answer to you, but my Father who is in heaven." In other words, Jesus was trying to say to Peter, you didn't get the answer from your own mental cognition. Everyone else in society, their perception of who I was wrong, including all of you. However, you should be happy because the truth about who I am has been revealed to you by my Father in heaven. So the important thing that you should get from this message is that your identity, your self-confidence, your self-worth, and your sense of purpose should never come from people or external factors, but only from God. Only He can truly define the limits of what you can and cannot do. And He already told you that you can do all things through Him who strengthens you. So don't let limiting beliefs or how you think others will respond to what you decide to do stop you from trying and putting yourself out there. The world needs your voice, your message, and your gifts in order to make it a better place. If you need more practical and actionable steps that you can use to achieve your goals in 2025, you can check out this other video that I made over here. And on that note, I want to say to you personally, you are way more than you think you are. You can accomplish the things that you are striving to accomplish in 2025. All you have to do is believe.